So this is my old radiator that came out of my 2015 Ram pickup. As you can see, it's old, it's ugly. As you can see, something was living in it here. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe a wasp at one time decided to make that his home. And here is the brand new radiator from Alloyworks Radiators. I'm going to do a review of this radiator. It's solid aluminum, very, very nice, right? And it has a brass petcock here, as opposed to a plastic one, a plastic drain plug petcock they call, for the OE part. It has a plastic tank and a plastic petcock. And this one's all metal, all aluminum with brass. And there we go. This is the Alloyworks brand radiator. Are you wondering what my thoughts are about this radiator? Are you wondering, as far as the review goes, what are my overall thoughts of it? Am I happy with it? Here's the box it came in. It came in this box, cooling and radiator specialist box. It was packed real well, packed really well, and I'm going to give you my overall thoughts. This is my overall thoughts of this radiator. This radiator sucks. It sucks, 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 it sucks. This radiator sucks. This radiator sucks. This radiator sucks. Oh, wait a minute. I meant to do this to the old one, not the new one. Oh man, I really messed up, didn't I? I'll bet you think I've lost it. Have I lost it? Have I lost my mind? Yes, I lost my mind. I almost said a bad word. I almost said I lost my effing mind, but I'll just say I lost my mind. I lost my mind. I lost my mind. Okay, I have some splaining to do, Lucy. Young people will have no idea what that means. So, full disclosure, or I did that for entertainment purposes, obviously. I do not actually hate the Alloyworks radiator yet, because I haven't had one in my vehicle yet. I'm in the process of putting one in. But yeah, when they shipped this to me, the nipple was broke off, and I asked them for a replacement. So this is what happened to the box. There was a big hole here, right here in the box, where the nipple apparently hit something, and you can tell from the damage there that FedEx slammed this package a little too hard. So I reached out, and Alloyworks explained to me that since I bought the insurance, and this is a separate insurance company, it was like $4 or $5, I think, something like that. I thought, why not buy the insurance? That I have to go through the insurance company. Now, had I not bought the insurance, Alloyworks would have just sent me another radiator, and it would have been a lot quicker. So in hindsight, I regret buying the insurance, and I still haven't been reimbursed, and it's been 4 days. They say it's on the way, so we'll see. I hope they do. The insurance company does reimburse me for that. They required me to damage it in order for them to fully reimburse me for it. I guess, they say it's a safety issue. We all know it's a trust issue. They don't want me to have two radiators, sell this one, because this could be repaired. You could, if you're able to weld aluminum, or even buying a new nipple, it might screw in there. The threads look pretty damaged, but anyway, I didn't want to mess with it. I thought they should send me a new one, so that is why I took the hammer to it. I hate doing that. I'm not a destructive person by nature, but I have to admit it was kind of fun. Oh, no, just kidding. Anyway, here's where we're at with Alloyworks for my 2015 Ram. When I put this in, even though it had the nipple broke, I went ahead and set it in there to see about fitment, and it was an obvious no freaking way is this 4-core going to fit in my truck without some major modification. When I was doing some comparisons, there's 5052 aluminum type, and I wrote it down somewhere else, AA 5052, and I was comparing cold case versus Alloyworks. Cold case was $540.35. Alloyworks was $299. The delivery for cold case was $98-ish, and Alloyworks had free delivery. The Alloyworks disclosed that they use the AA 5052 aluminum cold case. Nowhere on their website does it say what type of aluminum they're using, so to me that's a red flag. The tank thickness, Alloyworks said 2 millimeters. I've seen other radiators that had 1.75. Cold case did not disclose how thick theirs is. They did have some other specs of how you know, the measurements of width, height, length, whatever. They did have that on their website, but they did not have the actual thickness of the tank. So reviews. Here's another red flag on cold case. And ignore all this. This is my attempt at figuring out which hoses go where, because I replaced all my hoses and my water pump as well. And anyway, this is the part that and my torque specs are up here to make sure I spec everything correctly. But back to the comparison of cold case versus Alloyworks, because cold case is kind of a popular one, especially for older vehicles. Like if you have an old Chevy Camaro or something, I believe a lot of people like the cold case radiators. My other red flag was the fact that they show that there's 5 reviews on their website, but you're only able to visually look at, you can only see one of them, and it's coincidentally the 5-star one. They let people see that one, but they don't let people see the other 4 reviews. So what does that mean? To me, that's a red flag. You can't click on it anywhere, and you can't read those reviews. Maybe they'll fix that, especially if somebody shows them this video and they say, hey, people are saying that you can't even read the reviews and why it's 3 stars. Well, this one, in full disclosure, Alloyworks, they didn't have any reviews on their website, even a place to do it that I could see, but I did go to Amazon where they had 8 people review it, and I ended up with a 3.6. Well, the price was a big thing. There is a video out there that gives a discount code for free shipping. I can't remember the guy's name. He does reviews, and he did review the cold case radiator, and he said, hey, you use my discount code, you can get free shipping. Not his fault. He doesn't know that cold case says no, not on a larger radiator. They don't offer free shipping, only the small ones apparently. So I was not offered that free shipping option. That might have swayed me to buy that one, but and there was another issue too, is that cold case, they don't disclose on the website that they didn't have any available. I ordered it, paid for it. 5 days later, I emailed them saying, hey, is there a tracking number or something? I want to put a radiator in my truck. And then their response was, well, actually, they're in production right now. We're not going to have any until the end of the month. And that was like 10 days from that day. And I was like, well, I sure would have liked to have known that before spending $650. So I know I'm getting long-winded here, but I wanted to explain kind of the process of what I went through in determining things. So since Alloyworks has the AA 5052 aluminum, which by the way is way better, I did write down some comparisons here with a lot of companies are using the 3303 that has a 20 to 26 KSI tensile strength. 5052 has a 31 to 38. The Brunel hardness is 40 and 60. 40 versus 60. So this is a good aluminum, nice thick. And you know what? While I was beating on this with a hammer, I have to admit, I thought I was hitting it fairly hard. I thought that this was going to just, the hammer go right through it. You know, I mean, you look at the other side and it's not even affected at all. I have to admit, it seemed very solid when I was hitting it. Even when I was hitting the sides of it, I was hitting the sides of this and it wasn't budging. I did get this to bend down, hitting it, but where I hit it right on the tank, gosh, it didn't even budge. it seems like a quality unit. I hit this really hard and it just barely bent it. So, all right, so Alloyworks, I'm not saying they suck yet. I just did that for video entertainment purposes. I will find out if it sucks after I get my next one in the mail and I hook it up into my truck and try it out. So that'll be the next step, and I'll update this video with some progress reports and that type of thing. So, but I decided to go with this one. I really like the aluminum the aluminum tanks, that it doesn't have the plastic tanks, and I really like the brass petcock drain plug here, the little rubber grommet on the end of it. I do have plans to angle this down, because as you pull this out, either part of the way, it's got little holes in here, so it'll come out. If you just pull this out part of the way, it'll start coming out, but it comes out straight out horizontally. That seems like it would really make a mess under my truck. I want it to come straight down into a bucket, maybe put a hose in that or something. And so I'm going to put an angle, a 90-degree angle on this sucker, and have it point down when I get the next one in the mail. So anyway, that said, that's the reason why I put the hammer to the radiator. I hated the idea of doing this. I'm normally not a destructive person, at least not on video. And but they made me do it. It's either that or I wasn't going to get my refund, and Alloyworks said since I bought the insurance I have to work with them, so I was kind of in a little bit of a pickle, and I decided I gotta follow along with the process if I want to get my refund. So I took a hammer to it, took pictures of it, sent it to them, and as soon as they saw that I did this to the radiator, they sent me the email saying that my refund is being processed and I'll have it within 3 to 5 business days or something like that. So there we go, long explanation of why I did this. So I have the water pump on. I went ahead and put a new tensioner on it, a new pulley, new serpentine belt. I'm in the process of putting all my hoses on. I did get my two heater core hoses put on, and I just have my, obviously when I get my radiator in, I've got my hose, the upper hose here ready to go to replace the old 10-year-old hoses, and so that should be good. And I've got everything off over there, ready to be reinstalled. You might be wondering why I took all the grill out, and the active grill, internal grill. I'm actually doing a full flush where I wanted to remove the overflow tank to get everything out of the bottom of it. It's really hard to get a hose down there to drain it out just because of the way it looked. I got it sitting here on my bike. As you can see, it's really difficult to get a hose down in the bottom part of it to drain this thing out. So it's easiest just to take, it's only 2 bolts and the hose to take it off, and then you can flush it out. As a result of taking that off, wow, it really opens up the access here. You just gotta slide that one out of the hole on this side, and you remove the bracket on this side. But yeah, you don't need to worry about these two brackets, but you do have to worry about a bolt that is in this hole. You can see that from this angle, hopefully, and then another bolt that is in this plastic bracket right there in the middle of that. See if I can get a shot of that somehow. I'm gonna put my camera way around here. I don't know if that's showing up or not, but anyway, you get the idea. There's those 2 bolts that mount the AC lines onto the side of the radiator. Also from Alloyworks, I have cardboard on it protecting this part of it right now, and I'm in the process of bolting it up. And it's just the single core, which is still supposed to be a higher capacity than the stock, but I thought I'm going to go with this one on this model, and I'll put the model, I don't remember the model number of this particular 1-core Alloyworks, but I'll put it up on the screen. I'm having a little bit of an issue. I'm hoping things are going to still be okay because I haven't tried to put the electric fan or the fan shroud on yet. These bolts lined up okay. I just had to move the grommets out 1/4 of an inch from their natural fully seated position where they made it for this bracket. It was 1/2 an inch off. No way the bolts go in. But luckily there's some play here, so I just had to move it over 1/2 an inch on each side, and as you can see, it's hanging over just a little bit as far as the rubber, but it's a pretty solid connection. The bolts go in, so I was happy with that. This bracket lined up, it's on. That one goes in the sleeve down in the corner, so that's fine. These two brackets are okay. There is an issue. The stock bolts are too long to fit in that welded on nut that they have on this, and I happen to have one in my box of bolts that was shorter that fit for that one, but for the other one, I don't know if you can see this bolt right here. I just went ahead and put like 5 washers on it in order to where it wouldn't bottom out on me there. So that bolt was okay. So here I've got the AC hoses, lines I should say, pretty secure. So as I continue to put this on, and by the way, this is a 2015 Ram, excuse me, a 2015 Ram. The 4-core no-go. Not only these bolts not lining, I couldn't secure this at all to it because both of these were way out here. This top bolt that I did get to go in on this radiator, it was way out here. It was just like maybe 1.5 inches out. Way too far. Now, yeah, you probably could go ahead and go get a 3.5 inch bolt or something to at least let the threads reach that one to kind of secure it. I wasn't comfortable with that. It's just, but the other main issue is it protruded out so far into the this AC line right here, and I realize these can be moved a little bit, but you know, this is solid metal. This is metal right here, so it doesn't bend that much. I don't know what kind of modifications you'd have to make to those AC lines. You could discharge it and reroute those AC lines in order to make the hose and cut the hose, and you could have made that fit. I wasn't willing to do that, and then I was also seeing that it was going to be really close. I don't know, as far as the fan, getting really close to the fan. It was a close call. It probably could be fit in there if someone wants to try that 4-core. I'd be real interested to see what you do with those AC lines. There's no way to put the hose on, the bottom radiator hose on, with the way the AC lines are stock. They're both just in the way. Okay, I'm trying to get the electric fan in. I did get the hose on, the bottom radiator hose. It was a little too long. I had to cut 1.5 inches off of this side of it in order to get it to comfortably go on. Otherwise it was really binding up, pushing on the other side, and it was very unnatural looking. So and I measured it against the other radiator, and sure enough, this connector for the bottom hose, whatever you call that, nipple or whatever it's called, it is sticking out a little further than the original OE radiator. So it was necessary to cut that hose off 1.5 inches. Okay, I'm ready to put the electric fan in, and running into a minor issue. The way they have these slots for the fan to drop in, this doesn't come over far enough, like to the edge. This is supposed to hug the edge of it, but you know, it's like 1/4 inch in too far. And I'll show you the one on the other side, just so you don't think that, hey, just move it over. No, the other side is the same way. Look at that. That little lip right there should be way over here so that that can drop right down in there. This whole, I don't know, 1 inch piece should be moved over far enough to where the lip on this can conveniently slide right down the edge of it so that you don't have to cut this off. So I'm going to need to get a multi-tool out here and shave this off so that this will slide down there. But nothing major, I guess. It's just that I wish they would have designed this to where it slid in there like it does in the factory. It would have been easy just to have this over more, you know, just this whole piece over like a 3/8 of an inch ish. And it looks like they could have easily done that on this bracket without interference of anything. Still not sure if these bolts are going to line up for the shroud. I'm crossing my fingers on that one, but I am getting close. I do want to update on the bolt down here. Can you see that bolt right at the tip of this tool here? Is that showing up in the video okay? This bolt that secures the AC lines from this way, and then this is the bolt that secures it from the other angle. Here, I got a better view of it since I've got my overflow tank removed. This bolt right here, they both lined up nicely and everything's all firm. These dropped right in the holes, those rubber bushings in there, and these lined up. I will point out, I can't remember if I did or not, that the bolts, the factory bolts, are too long for the nuts that they used on this. They bottom out and they don't go all the way closed. So I was able to find a shorter one in my stack of bolts. I only had one though. So for the other one, as you can see for this one, I just added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, I added 4 additional washers, I think, just so that I can get it to secure down real good. But this bracket went in good. The other bracket slid in its hole where it's supposed to be nicely. So minor issues, you know. Cutting the hose, I cut it 1.5 inches. It probably only needs to be cut actually, I think I'm gonna, that's really close to that over there. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and pull that all the way flush. I should have done that when I put it on. There's plenty of room for it to be pulled all the way flush. I would say cut 1.25 inches off of the factory hose, and that would be pretty good. I cut 1.5 inches, and I've got a little extra. It definitely needs to have something cut off. Otherwise, the corner of it over here is pressing up against that line where the coolant is going into the engine block. That metal line, it was pressing up against it, so that's why I had to cut it. Slid down in there. Get the other side here. And that side slid in now, so that should work good. Hopefully you can see that petcock a little bit. It's kind of dark down here. Just a tip to see, in case you want to do this, the way they have that petcock in their stock, it points straight out, and when you open it, the fluid's gonna, you know, roar out this way and splash all over the place. I went ahead and put an elbow on it to point it down. That way, when I open it, I might even put an extension on it to bring it down to here, but I don't know how safe that is to have all that hanging out your radiator. So I might just leave it like this, and at least it's coming down straight, and it'll go straight down into a bucket. So I'll tighten that up. Anyway, in case you want to use that elbow idea. On the fan shroud, it's the bolt holes are lining up but the slot that it goes into, it's not wanting to go in because of this little lip right here. Because of that little lip right there. I'm going to go ahead and grind that off. I grinded off the one on the other side. All I did was right there to make that flush right there, because that little lip that's designed to go fit nice and snug on the OE one, it doesn't fit snug on this Alloyworks one. It looks to me like when they made this bracket right here, they basically just guessed with it. I think they just kind of like, let's put it about right here, and it doesn't really mean anything. It doesn't fit. The fan doesn't want to slide down in there, and then the other piece doesn't want to go on top of that either. So nothing major, I don't think. And I can bend that out just a tiny bit more and shave off what I'm shaving off, and it should slide in there good. Well, here's where I am with it. The once I shaved those little edges off, then the fan shroud did go in the groove just fine, and it looks like the bolt holes, I don't have the bolts in there yet, but I can see where it would line up on that end, and yeah, it looks like it lines up on this end as well. So it's in the bottom groove and the top one. Once I get the bolts in there, it looks like it'll be fine. Still need to plug that fan in, and I still need to put my other fan on. I still need to put my fan and fan clutch on there, and it looks like that fan shroud is about an inch or so closer to everything than what it used to be, which I don't think is going to be any big deal. I don't think I'm going to have to cut the fan shroud down or anything like that. I'll put that fan on and see how things look, and go from there. I already put a new fan clutch on here. I went ahead and put the date on it that I replaced it, in case I get hit by a bus and someone else wonders down in the future. But I've just heard too many stories of people putting a new water pump on, and then 2 or 3 months later they're replacing the fan clutch and then the fan clutch might ruin the water pump. So anyway, preventive maintenance. I went with a Mopar. They're more expensive, but I didn't want to take any chances with the aftermarket ones making a whole bunch of noise, or I've heard horror stories with some of the aftermarket ones. Some are probably fine. Let me know in the comments if you have an opinion on that. Some of those aftermarket ones are only like 50 bucks or 80 bucks, I think. And this Mopar one was, yeah, like a couple $100, I think, if I remember right. But oh well, it's just money, right? Okay, well, I got the fan shroud in, and everything's bolted down. Like this nipple is too narrow. The other one's a 3/8, this one's a 1/4 nipple. I'll put a clamp on that. So if anybody wanted to order this particular radiator, all aluminum radiator, you know, you can make it work. It's just gonna be a little bit of shaving a couple pieces of plastic to make it fit in there right, and that type of thing. So haven't put fluid in it yet, haven't put coolant in it yet, and I will do that hopefully today, and just make sure there's no leaks. In fact, I went ahead and put my overflow tank in, and I'm going to leave the grill out while I initially check for leaks, make it a little bit easier to see everything here. So I think I'll go ahead and put some coolant in it and check that out right now. But all in all, it's going together pretty good, I think. And now I've got an all aluminum radiator in here. If it's a good quality one, then I'll be very happy. If I have to take this out because it's leaking, then I am going to be very sad. Okay, so far so good. Got everything buttoned up, got some coolant in it. I did a few flushes, 4 flushes, and nothing's leaking so far. So far it looks really good. finish flushing it out, get the rest of that out of the engine block. I just got distilled water in here with 4 flushes, and then I'm gonna put the right coolant in it, and then I'll be done with this job. Okay, I am doing my final fill up with the coolant, and I did 7 flushes, so I'm just waiting for it to warm up. You might be wondering why the lid's on, but I have it's not all the way on, enough to vent there. I just have a lot of stuff blowing from this tree, as you can see on my bumper here, and I don't want it to blow into the coolant. So anyway, the job is finished. Nothing is leaking. I've been on 7 little quick test road trips as I'm doing my flushes, and the radiator seems like it's working really well. Yeah, I'm just doing a test. Left home about 4 miles ago, coming down hillside, and my temps have been fluctuating between 196 and 205 was the highest I saw right before, I guess, the thermostat opened up. Then it went down into the upper 190s, and pretty much stays there. I see it peaking 202, 203, and then back into 196, 199. And then in parking the vehicle here at a restaurant, it went all the way back up to 205. So this is the stock radiator. Rose's Cafe, by the way. And there we are, 199 degrees as I'm pulling into the parking lot. I'll have to look at the video to see where it was before. What was it before when I parked in that spot right there with my stock radiator? I can't recall. But anyway, 199. We'll do a comparison and see what it is. All right, it's all done. 7 flushes. Flush. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And no leaks, luckily. Everything looks good. I brought it on a really good test drive, 4.5 miles, 9 miles total. And yeah, once the thermostat opened up, it's a 203 degree thermostat, and yeah, it goes back down to 196, between 196 and 199. Yeah, so if it was gonna leak, I think it would have on that trip. I was wondering, because on my during my flushes, I only went around the block, and it only got up to like 150 to 160 degrees. So I was wondering if it was going to be the same after it reached past. You know, and by the way, I had the thermostat out while I did the flushes, so it would mix everything real good and wouldn't have to wait for the thermostat to open just to start mixing in there. Yeah, I did put a picture of the belt diagram there in case I'm on the side of the road and I can't remember how to fix that. Hopefully that heavy duty belt will never break, but we'll see how good that is. And by the way, if you noticed my munched up air filter, there's a reason for that. Yeah, new one's coming in the mail. It's a long story. There's going to be another video on the S&B project. That's another story for that video. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. Got the grill back on, and everything is working. Radiator's installed, no leaks. And so far, I'm going to give the Alloyworks a thumbs up. Giving it a thumbs up. We'll see if I continue to agree with that thumbs up as the months and years go by. I will update this video every once in a while. Maybe I'll put a comment, or if someone asks how things are going, I'll answer their question, hopefully, if I can see it. Remember to look at questions. And if you decide to get an Alloyworks radiator, and if you decide to go for that 4-core, they also have a 3-core, by the way. If you do the 4-core, and you'll probably have to either cut that shroud, because even the 1-core, the shroud is about an inch away from those AC lines there, and I would think that the shroud is going to go right into everything if you put that on. Who knows? Maybe you could leave the shroud off and just run that V6 fan and just take the mechanical fan off. If that floats your boat, let me know how good that works. I don't think I'll do it. I leave the 203 degree thermostat in it and the mechanical fan and pretty much everything the engineers recommended, with the exception of that stupid plastic radiator. Yeah, over and out. Thank you for watching. Well, real quickly, in case anyone's wondering what the aluminum radiator looks like once the cover is on, that was my final step of the project, is popping that thing on. And yeah, you can't see the aluminum radiator very